Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek-Stew, and today, guys, welcome back to another episode of Conspiracy Theories with Ike. That's right. But I apologize that my hair is like all crazy today. You might be thinking like, wow, it looks all kinds of fucked up. It is a little bit. I just woke up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do these pretty early, just because that's the best time for me to do them. And not having a good hair day today. Showered last night. It's not a fun time when you shower the night before and wake up and your hair is all fucky. I need to get a haircut. Fun fact, obviously during this whole COVID thing, I've been trying to like minimize my going out and haircuts and everything else. And then obviously with the whole Omicron bullshit, it's just been a whole crazy thing. But I'm moving pretty soon. I'm going to be moving to a warmer climate, so I really need to get a haircut. But anyhow, on to today's video. Now, I want to go ahead and be honest with you straight up and forward. I've been a little busy lately, so today is going to be doing a... more of a short episode. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna bullshit you. This is gonna be short. And the reason for it is just because I've been planning on moving and everything else, and it's been taking up a lot of time. So today's episode is just gonna be a little shorter. You're still getting 2 theories though, mind you. You're still getting 2. These are just a little bit shorter, easier, explainable theories that don't require a whole lot of, bullshitting. So we'll go ahead and get into it today. But the first one we're gonna talk about today is my red is not your red. Alright, and as always, I forgot to do this in the beginning for whatever reason, but thank you to Cicada 1205 for the conspiracy theory iceberg. These theories came from this iceberg, and pretty much every theory that I've talked about, with the exception of like a handful of them, have all come from the conspiracy theory iceberg. So I'm very happy to continue to give credit for this wonderful iceberg, because without it, I wouldn't be here. So anyhow, let's see. We're going to talk about my red is not your red. So my red is not your red is a pretty easy theory. There are 2 kind of versions of this that we want to talk about. The first one is kind of the concept of perception. There's actually a whole theory called, I think it's called red theory. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's called red theory. As I was doing my research, I saw that pop up, I think. But red theory is basically that. It's all about how we sometimes perceive things differently than somebody else. I think it's a common misconception, right? That how we see things is how everybody else sees things. So in front of me, this is just an example. I have a Saul poster that's red. I'll put a picture up here so you have a point of reference. The color that I see that Saul poster as is not the same color that you would see it as. And that's not to say that it's not red, of course, but it's that the way I see red or the way you see red may be different because of how our setups work. You see, I have corrected vision, for instance. My eyes are kind of fucked up. You out there may not have corrected vision, or maybe someone else has color blindness. But it's all about the concept of perception. There are small things that are different between each person's, how they see things, how they view things. But my red is not your red is also about how we view concepts. It's also talking about how when we look at a concept, how do I view that concept differently than you based on my past experiences. So my red is not your red also dives into the thought experiment category of basically everyone's experiences are unique and different. It's more of a thought experiment of, we all walk different paths and everything else. Be nice to one another because you never know what's going on. So yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So my red is not your red is actually really interesting. It's 100% true. Honestly, I'm not gonna bullshit you here. We all perceive things differently. My red is not your red. Honestly, I don't even know if I would even go as far as to say that this is in fact a conspiracy theory, more as this is a sort of unknown fact of life that we all perceive things differently, right? But it's great. Love it. Would 100% recommend that you look more into this, because there's actually a lot of literature about my red is not your red. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you want to learn more about it, just Google it. My red is not your red. And there's a whole lot of stuff on there, a lot of different peer-reviewed articles even to kind of talk about the concept. So hey, if you want to learn more, for viewers like you, log on to with parents' permission, go online to google.com and search "My red is not your red." So yeah, there you go. So our next theory is a little bit different. It's not a theory. It's not like a concept. It's more of a cryptid, if you will. So theory number two is, I don't know what the hell I just said. Theory number 2 is about the Thunderbird, or more specifically, the Thunderbird picture. Now, there's actually been a lot of speculation about this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're looking at, right? So if you don't know, the Thunderbird is a type of cryptid. This is just like an artist rendition of it. A Thunderbird is a type of cryptid that's basically a huge bird, okay? Like the kind of bird that would pick up humans type thing. Yeah, they're gigantic. So cryptids in general are a lot of fun. Thunderbird is a lot of fun. And the really cool thing about this is that there's supposedly a legitimate picture of it. Now, the only like real pictures I could find of it are like stuff like this. But supposedly there is documented proof of the Thunderbird somewhere, right? Somewhere, somehow, there is a actual documented picture of the Thunderbird. Now, I don't know if the picture I showed you is in fact the actual documented proof of the Thunderbird. However, it looks old-timey. It looks like it looks legitimate somewhat. But there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not there is a real picture, if this is the real deal, or if it's just some form of, edit, if you will, or even further than that, if it's just some really large bird that, like, because every species can spawn large versions of itself, right? It's typically, it doesn't happen most of the time. It's pretty atypical, but it can happen. So a lot of people speculate that this may be just a version of a bird that we normally have, a normal crow or a raven or whatever the hell else, that basically just got really big. That for whatever reason it was born, it was a gigantic fucking bird, and that it continued to grow and grow and grow and grow for whatever reason. We've seen this in other species where the animals are abnormally large because of whatever. It's not a genetic defect, I don't think, but it is a genetic abnormality because typically those animals are not that big. So, again, speculation as to whether the picture's real or if this is even the real picture, or whatever the case may be. Now, I want to say this. If this was a real picture, this would be a huge step for the concept of cryptozoology, right? Thunderbirds are just one of many types of cryptids, right? You know what I mean? Cryptids, and for people who maybe don't know, because I kind of didn't touch on this just a minute ago, cryptids and cryptozoology is the study of basically supernatural creatures, if you will, supernatural would be right, because they're not natural, right? They're above and beyond the normal. So, Thunderbirds, gigantic birds, Bigfoot, Yeti, the Jersey Devil, the Chupacabra, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman. I mean, there's all kinds of different cryptids that exist. Some of them are more likely than others. Thunderbird, I would almost go as far to say that the Thunderbird is more likely than like some of the other cryptids. I love the concept of Mothman, don't get me wrong, but I highly doubt that Mothman is real. I have watched like Mothman Prophecy and other types of stuff about people trying to find the Mothman and presenting evidence of the Mothman. So I like it. I think the concept of Mothman's great, but I don't know if it's actually real. So same thing with things like the Loch Ness Monster. I don't really know if it's real. However, something that I do think is real, for instance, is the Bigfoot. I believe there is such a thing as a Bigfoot. It may just be a type of primate of some sort that's really big, but Thunderbird's another one of those cryptids that I would go as far to say that is most likely real. And here's why. And I apologize if you see like little specks of light on me. The window's letting it in. Anyways, so something that I would say about Thunderbirds specifically is that Thunderbirds have a very close likeliness of being real. And the reason I say that is because, as I mentioned before, it's very possible that the Thunderbird is just a very large species of another bird, potentially. It may not even be its own species, right? Obviously, a lot of people seem to think that Thunderbird in of itself is its own distinct, creature, right? Like if you were to denote what the name of that creature, rather than it being a raven or a crow or a dove, it is specifically a Thunderbird. So not to say that it isn't its own species, but it could very well just be a very large bird of another species that you can classify as Thunderbird. So that's kind of my thought process, is that to kind of almost make it more possible, you can kind of open the branches, if you will, a little bit, open up the possibility for it. You know, you don't necessarily have to say it has to be its own species. You say it could just be those genetic abnormalities of other birds that make them gigantic. So I'm going to stop rambling because I really love the concept of cryptids and cryptozoology. So there will probably come a day where I will probably talk about that. Maybe I'll find like a cryptids iceberg. That would be really cool. But maybe one day when I finish the conspiracy theory iceberg, if I ever finish it, Jesus Christ, I may die first. So yeah, so Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are great. Cryptozoology is great. I love it, love it, love it. If you want to know more, Google it, because there's a shit ton of stuff out there about cryptids and Thunderbirds. I'm not even joking. I really had to condense this down for this. I could have talked a lot longer. Trust me. Trust me. Anyhow, we're going to move into final thoughts, and I want to real quick plug this right here. If you want to see theories of your own or theories that you have seen on the internet covered, just put them in the comment section down below. If they're conspiracy theories of your own, you can actually just type out a quick description and I will review them. Maybe it's something that I've never heard of before and we can talk about it. So that being said, thank you so much, and final thoughts. So as we move into final thoughts, I just want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to support the channel. We're still, I think we're almost at 1,300 subscribers. I think we're at like 1,250, which is great. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. And if you're new here and you've not subscribed yet, please take a moment, click that subscribe button, and click that like button, because it really helps me out. It helps the channel out. You know, the more people that follow the channel, and the more people that, you know, want to watch the content and everything else, people that stick around are basically making these videos possible. This doesn't pay very well as a job, so I do have a full-time job outside of this, but I would like one day for this to be the only job that I have, because I definitely enjoy doing YouTube, and YouTube has become a passion of mine. So anyhow, like I said, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, and if you are subscribed, thank you for subscribing. Hit a like on this video. Let me know in the comment section down below what else you guys want to see covered. So I just picked these two today. I think I have one kind of on the back burner that I need to do soon that somebody else recommended. But I just want to know, you know, what do you guys want to see covered? What is your favorite conspiracy theories? Are there theories on this iceberg that you're having a hard time finding information about? You know, let me know, and I can kind of dive into it, and I can find some information for you, because that's what I do. So I don't want to ramble on for too long, but again, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. Yeah, so it's early. I'm going to go get some coffee, but I'm going to cut it there. Like I said, shorter video today, but it's not a big deal. Hope you guys enjoyed. But like, favorite, subscribe, follow us on social media, all that good stuff. Discord in the description. Yeah, so stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay awesome, and we will see you in the next one. See ya.